episode of Top 5 Fridays, where today, as you see on the screen, it's top 5 NES games that I enjoy that aren't Mario, Castlevania, or Zelda. Ready? Let's go! And number 5 on our list, it's one that I think is underrated. This is Micro Machines. Let's get right into it. You have challenge and head-to-head, and then a cast of characters that you can pick that you want to be. And then we're doing challenge, so this is the qualifying race. I love what comes after this. See, the object obviously is to get to the finish line first. A is accelerate, B is brake, and you control with the D-pad. And what's unique about this game is you get to race different vehicles. It's not just cars like the next game will say. And you even get to pick who you want to race out of the characters. Usually the AI will do that for you in other racers. That's another thing that makes this game a standout over most racing games like your RC Pro-Ams and your Rad Racers and stuff like that. And this one, when you're racing sports cars, it'll tell you what you're racing. And I love the track layouts. There's some pretty uncommon ones. Like right now, we're on a table. And I was getting really turned around when I was playing this. I kind of wish they had defined, they had better defined what the track actually is instead of just putting Cheerios down there. I know we're at the breakfast table here, but I would have made the Cheerio racetrack a little bit bolder. Maybe put some napkins in between there or something so you can tell what you're racing on. I don't know. Anyway, the graphics in this game are superior for an NES game. I'm surprised that this game isn't very well known, but it is one of my personal favorites. In all honesty, I think you should pick it up. I mean, I'm not going to speculate if it's expensive or not because I really don't know. But you basically go until you lose your 3 lives, which you won't see me doing this because we're going to be switching to the next game before that happens. Desktop drop-off, and we're racing sports cars here. This is a really tricky stage to navigate, even though it's more defined on what you're actually racing on than the kitchen table was. So you notice there's little chalk lines here to actually give you a sense of where you're actually driving. And there's actual defined boundaries here as well. I really don't like the course because, like, to get back on course, you literally have to drive into that checkered pit over there. Your best bet would just be to not hold down A, or you're going to be drifting all over the place like I have been here. Just be a little more careful than I have been and you'll be fine. You can at least fall off as much as you want it. Although I don't know why you'd fall off on purpose. I'm just saying that falling off doesn't hurt you, and it looks like we're about to finish this race of doom over here. So I'm probably going to be showing y'all one more race before we move on, though. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how much time we have left in this segment. Honestly, I don't have much more to say. Do I recommend picking this up? Well, yes, I do. But be warned, you might have to pay a pretty penny for it. It's one of those games it's not easy to find, I don't believe. Anyways, we're going on to the next part of this now. RC Pro-Am. This is the more unique racing game on the list because of the fact that, like micro machines, you're racing something other than, you know, Formula 1 or NASCAR cars. In this case, it's, as you can tell, it's RC trucks. And then at number 3 is an all-time classic. This is pro wrestling. This is basically, I think, this was the first pro wrestling game I ever played, well, one of them. And probably the one that most of these are based off of. I mean, you've seen Starman appear in several other games, but that's a different story for another time. Basically, it's wrestling. Although some of the characters do look like then WWE stars, like I think Giant Panther's supposed to look like Hulk Hogan, for example. We'll see that a bit later. The music is pretty cool, but I think the one thing wrong with this might actually be the controls, and there's some 3D synths in and out. Didn't mean to do that. But like I was saying, the controls are this game's main thing. While they're easy to pull off, you want to stay away from the grapples. Those are a bit trickier. Everything else, I can't really fault it, you know? It's one of those games. And I love how on the outside of the ring it says, "Go fight." As if we're not already fighting? Basically, this game does have a ranking system. Each match you win, you go up a rank until you hit number 1, which you then challenge for the VWA World Championship. I swear, Fighter Hayabusa looks like he on it, but like I said, Giant Panther is a Hulk Hogan knockoff, obviously. I think this guy I'm facing might be, I don't know, might be Antonio Inoki. So we get a Hogan versus Inoki match if I'm right on this. And yes, they do have special moves. I was just never able to figure out how to pull them off. And I wish they had health bars. Unless I've always thought that those red things below, on the left to the right of the VWA logo in the middle of the ring, are both health meters and special meters. I don't know what that sound means unless it means somebody's got a special. The only way back into the ring is to walk to the lower side of the ring and just press up to roll back in. A and B both strike. Basically, it's Fire Pro wrestling controls, where you walk into somebody to grapple them, and it's all about grapple timing. Which I'm bad at Fire Pro, and I'm probably bad at here, but I definitely recommend, since this game is so cheap, I recommend everybody get a copy of it if you have an NES. Moving on to the next game now. And in at number 2, it's ice hockey. And this along with pro wrestling and I believe our number 1 game, which I will reveal in just a second here, were black box games, meaning they were among the first 30 to be released in the console. I'm not exactly sure what year or I'm not exactly sure what position, but I know a lot of these were released between 83 and 85. I think this one was in 1983. As were our number 3 and our number 1. So the last 3 all were black box games, and I will more than likely do a list of top 5 black box games at some point, just to let you guys know that there are more than just these. But anyway, I'm no good at this. Let's just say it right now. I am absolutely no good at this game, but I do like it. I mean, it's a simple hockey game. A pass, B shoot. And of course the direction pad moves everybody around. All you really gotta do to get the goalie to stop, it's like in the current games, you gotta get him in front of the puck. In the current games, you also have to press a button, I think, to get him to stop it and whatnot. But I don't believe I got as much playtime as I did out of this one, though. I still pull this one out and play it every once in a while, though. But overall, solid little hockey game. Good for about a good 10 or so minutes of playtime every once in a while. But I'm not saying this is not at all a bad game, even if it's really tough for me to score. I mean, the one goal I wound up getting, either the game because the computer felt bad for me, or I got lucky. Either way, though, most black box games are pretty cheap nowadays. I would definitely go ahead and pick this up. Looking at the collection, I believe I might have got this one in box. I'm not for sure on that. I think I scored it like 7-1, and then they scored an 8, meaning I stopped the match after that. But let's just lay back and watch some more of this hockey action. And there's the only one that I would get. At least I got it a 5-double win. It's at least some consolation that I wasn't shut out here, but it's also a miracle that I wasn't shut out. I was doing absolutely awful playing goal, and that's the main gripe I have with this game, is that I have to control the goalie. Anybody who's played NHL games with me knows that I'm abominable. I'm abysmal, I should say, at goaltender. I get a lucky save here and there, but everything else seems to go in. Now again, that doesn't hinder this game from being a good game, because it is definitely a good game. I mean, all the graphics are pretty good. I can't really talk much about the controls, because it's the same controls as every NES game. A does X thing, B does Y thing, and then you move with the D-pad. It's not hard on any NES game, really. I wouldn't say any, because there are those where the controls are sort of floaty. Like in our opening video, Bible Adventures was a good example of floaty control. But anyways, we're going to wrap up ice hockey because we still got another game to go. And we're going to get to that one in about a minute. But for now, let's chill back and watch the rest of this action, shall we? Yes, we shall. And now on to the next game. And we have reached our number 1 pick for this list, and that pick is Balloon Fight. Now the reason I picked this is simple. It's a simple little game that's a lot like Joust, actually. Object, simple. Use the A and B buttons to land on your opponent's balloons and pop them before you lose all yours. Now this game has a 1- and 2-player mode, but Also, the mode called Balloon Trip, which I will also show later, but the music and graphics on this are excellent for an NES game, and it's really easy to control. Although, the ostrich or whatever it is you're controlling does get floaty at times. But it's nothing too bad. But just remember one thing though, the water kills you. Automatically, no matter how many balloons you got. And then we clear the level by landing on the last enemy. That's the other way you take him out. Kind of like in the original Mario, where you had to stomp on the Koopa shells to take him out. Or kick them. And that's why I wouldn't let them all gang up on you like that. I believe you get 3 tries at it, though. But anyway, this is why, folks, Balloon Fight is my #1 game on this list. It's fun, it's easy, and it's addictive. I recommend everybody go out and play it. Whether it's emulation or whatever, but this game is actually one of those black box games I mentioned earlier that's actually rather cheap to get your hands on. And now we're going to head into Balloon Trip mode, and here's that classic balloon fight theme. Now, you want to avoid the obstacles on each side of the balloon here. That's what makes it challenging. Using A and B, as I said earlier, that's how you raise up and control your player. Idea is to get to the first rank. I obviously need some practice. Each balloon you get will give you another rank. You want to get that top score of 25,000 points. And we're going back to Balloon Trip again. I think this might be the most fun mode in this game, and even if I'm not really good at it. And they say practice makes perfect, but again, everybody needs to get a copy of this, and it's really easy. It's easy to find. I've seen it at every convention I've been to. And finally, I think I finally picked it up this year, but again, this is one anybody can pick up and play. It's a fun little romp, good for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's not really one you can sit down and beat unless you're going through Balloon Trip mode. Do I recommend going through Balloon Trip? Absolutely. That and this mode right here is what makes the game fun, but it's even more addictive if you have a second player. From personal experiences, I actually competed in a balloon fight tournament at last year's Retropalooza. Didn't do too well at it, but trust me, 2-player on this game makes it even more addictive than it normally is at 1 player. But wrapping up this review, what games on it do I recommend? All of them. Anyway, guys, since we're wrapping it up, I want to let you guys know that there will be new episodes of this hopefully every Friday. Until then, give me that like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, and let me know what you think of these games down below. Did you like them? Anyway, bye everyone.